Hello and welcome all. My name is Ahmad Halabi and I'm gonna talk about eliminating threats via actionable intelligence data. So a little bit about me. I'm the managing director of Resecurity in the MENA region. I'm also a hacker. I managed to hack ethically more than 200 companies, including Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and the list goes on. In 2019, I was ranked the top hacker in the US Department of Defense, where I was able to find 5 vulnerabilities in the Pentagon and 7 vulnerabilities in DARPA, as well as being ranked the top hacker in IBM in 2020 and also the top hacker in UAE in 2022. So the penetration of the new technologies is getting bigger, leading to have a lot of threats. And talking about the information systems that are used to store citizens' data, utilities, emergency systems, e-governments, smart cities, and much more. So with the evolution of technology, the number of cyber threats is increasing rapidly as long as your company is connected to the internet. So what are the key threats targeting sectors? A lot of key threats are coming from data breaches, application vulnerabilities, hacking of IoT and smart devices, cyber attacks, terrorism, phishing, supply chain risks, remote workplace, fraud, and much more. So one of the use cases here we discover, especially at Resecurity, is the data breaches. Because from a data breach, acquiring certain credential, a hacker can do a lot. One of the things that he can do is simply hacking into the infrastructure of a company. If he acquired then IT credentials, for example, cyber espionage, data theft, targeting the third parties, supply chain that the company use, fraud to steal money, steal funds, and abusing the whole brand and business as well. So vulnerabilities alone are dangerous, but combining them with the threats will result in a much bigger impact, targeting your asset and bad reputation as well. So what it takes to protect the organization or a company or the sector is simply implementing a proper cyber threat intelligence that should cover the regional, national, and the global threat landscape, monitoring everything inside your digital asset and notifying the big high-risk individuals for any threat happening, as well as making the threat intelligence based on operational, technical, and strategical level of collecting any threat possible about you, directly or indirectly, and notifying you in early warning before anything bad happens. So we divide our threat intelligence into certain parts, starting from the context, which is the massive library where we have all the threat feeds and data intelligence there. Then we prioritize them to the risk, where it orients per your digital asset needs. It answers the 3 main questions about your organization, which are, am I being targeted, who's targeting me, and do I have vulnerabilities and the threats around my system. Also, we have our Hunter unit. So Hunter unit is a human research and development unit that focuses on developing the products and maintaining the human investigation on the dark web. So we cover the national security protection. Also, we cover the financial monitoring and money laundering, money mules, and much more. And as well, we fight against counter-terrorism as well. So one of our customer success in USA, we work with 24 intelligence agencies. The one that we can mention is the FBI, somewhere there, yeah, FBI. We also cover a lot of important companies, including Microsoft, Amazon, eBay, and much more as well. So covering all sectors from financial, government, e-commerce, media, intelligence agencies, and technology. Some use cases we can defend against anti-piracy, dark web monitoring, digital risk monitoring, investigations, brand protection, data breaches, fraud and risk intelligence, and security intelligence as well. So our platform is simply combining human intelligence with artificial intelligence to result in a very unique data. I will skip this because I'm going to explain it later. Okay, so what we do, we monitor more than 5 billion threat artifacts, including IOCs, TTPSs, underground channels, in the dark web, marketplaces, and we monitor more than 9 million adversaries, 300 million records on the dark web. Our platform speaks 40 languages because we know that hackers are coming from different regions. Not all speak the same language. So we develop our human intelligence translation because we cannot rely on Google API. And also we have more than 40,000 sources, not 20,000. So the power of our context is simply through actionable data. We're not only giving you a data breach, but we're also telling you the source of the data breach, who's behind it, and what effect it did. So combining the defensive, offensive, and intelligence sections, we are able not only to find vulnerabilities and the threats, but also to detect and act against them as well. Well, some things we can do is monitoring threat actors, financial monitoring, money laundering, detecting marketplaces, counterterrorism, national security, tradecraft, and data mining. So I'm gonna go quickly here because I want to show you the juicy information, which is we monitor more than 340 million records just from the dark web. We don't rely on open source much. We do monitor open source, but the thing about us is that we don't buy data. We don't have second-hand data. We acquire data on our own because simply we have a hunter unit trading with criminal hackers on the dark web. So we infiltrate into marketplaces groups, we deal with criminal hackers, and we acquire data without buying them. So we also monitor, as mentioned, social media networks, cloud information like Discord, for example, GitHub, GitLab, Twitter, Facebook, and much more. We also do monitor data, so we are watching the IP addresses, Bitcoin addresses, emails, contacts, credit cards, financial details, and much more. We do monitor not only leaked emails and passwords, but we are able to detect any compromised device inside the organization, which I will show you now. I think you heard about LoRa, which is long-range networks. Well, simply through our platform, we are able to detect any company that is infected and using LoRa. Not only this, through this we are able to access their LoRa devices simply because we track hackers, we track their behavior of how they infiltrate, how they affect companies. And here, for example, I'm gonna show you that there is an infected computer in Canada belonging to one of the companies that are using LoRa network. The infection is coming from Raccoon, which are malware stealers on the dark web that inject botnets in the internet, spread them randomly, and get the infected computer. Then they prioritize the files after they infect the computer, extract everything, and sell them on the dark web. So we can see that the hackers were able to acquire the credentials of the LoRa network of this company. We identify more than that. Also, everything inside the computer, we can acquire it from the hacker. So we are able to know what hackers extracted from your infected computer. Could be employee computer, could be the manager, high-level person in the organization as well. Well, this is also about illegal trafficking on the dark web. So if there is illegal weapon trafficking, if there is illegal vehicle trafficking, we can detect it through the critical internal channels as well. Identifying intelligences, not only random information, so we can track the actor, we can track the geolocation, the total posts, even the Bitcoin addresses, the email of the person who is selling this. Well, we will go a little bit in advance. For example, our hunter unit was able to detect that there was a breach of 22,000 user records, including emails and passwords, for oil and gas and smart device company, where hackers were able to find a zero-day and access their databases and leak them on the dark web, selling this data. So including emails, passwords, locations, and much more. Well, what we can also do is simply monitoring any financial records, even if they are Bitcoin addresses. You may tell me that Bitcoin is hard to detect and to monitor, but yeah, we can also do it. So from monitoring simple transaction related to Bitcoin, we were able to identify the real location that was done from. And this is done through human intelligence combining with AI. So machine itself cannot do this. You need to have a hunter unit, criminal or not criminal, like people thinking like criminals infiltrating with criminals on the dark web. This is a recent finding we identified of a scam network targeting a lot of the regions, specifically UAE and Saudi. So the criminal hackers were doing scamming networks, scamming campaigns, pretending or impersonating Fortune 100 companies where the losses exceeded 5.8 billion US dollars. We can see the companies here that the criminal hackers impersonated, and they created phishing domains to trick the victims and the actual users, the consumers of these organizations, to go to these fake pages instead of the real ones. What we did is that we simply tracked all the relations, then we were able, from the digital smoke happening, so these are the organizations, for example, Baxter International or ITC Hotel. This is the real company, and this is the phishing domain that was made by the threat actor. From the phishing domain, after our analysis, we were able to identify the real addresses of the payment. Then we were able to match them with the exact bank. From that, we were able to disrupt the operation of the threat hackers, and we were able to track some of them. So simply, this investment that they did stopped because we were able to detect them. So in the threat intelligence industry, no need to know exactly the person behind the attack, but you can acquire as much information, as much intelligence as you can. So when he know that he's revealed, his activity is revealed, so he will directly stop. This is example about how we monitor threat actors on the dark web and other channels. We monitor for now 30 million users on the dark web. We can identify their relationships, the people they talk to, and much more. So for example, this is one called the Joker. He's very known on the dark web. Recently we were able to identify his real name, as well as the IP address, as well as the email as well. I think you cannot see clearly, but we were from the victim on the dark web, we were able to infiltrate, to add one of our hunter unit in the criminal group, and through that we were able to identify the real name, the email, and the place where he's living. This is very, very valuable for the national security and the government as well. Well, this image is a little bit clear, so we were able to find his real Gmail, we were able to find his IP address, and also a password related to him as well on one of the forums. So recently also, this week, we were able to track criminal hackers who were heavily targeting UAE and KSA governments, especially MOD and MOI. So we were able to detect that these hackers were selling information about the government on the dark web, including legal documents as well. We were able to know the exact guy behind it. He's posting on breach.io, posting on Pastebin, and posting on other forums on the dark web, like raid forums. So simply, UAE juicy documents leaked for sale. And they sell this data. We don't buy, we acquire them. This is the important thing about us. While acquiring, we keep you updated about anything. And the funny thing is that we were able to put one of our guys in their group, pretending to be criminal hacker like them, so we can know any activity they operate. We can know the next action that they're gonna do without doing anything, because we have an insider there. This is the difference between human intelligence approach and just an AI. So this is the same guy extracting, selling 6 GB of information of the Ministry of Culture for KSA, Aramco leaks 20 GB, and much more. The juicy things is that we identified the correlations. We are able to track the other hackers that he deal with and try to find their email addresses. We succeeded with some people. We already delivered this to the MOD, and they are happy with the results. So we also monitor a lot of IOCs, including zero-day intelligence vulnerabilities. Simply, we are able to detect any new zero-day that hackers sell on the dark web. Let's say you're running Cisco firewall. A hacker identified vulnerability in Cisco. Instead of reporting to Cisco ethically, he sell it on the dark web. Simply, we acquire it, we tell it to you before even Cisco know about it. So you can at least have a layer of protection until the Cisco company fix their firewall. Zero-day intelligence, we are something very good at, and we can acquire it as well for free without paying for the vulnerability. Yeah, this is some of the zero-day feeds that we get. You may see some recent data, some old data, because we don't show the real recent data. Well, also we can see how they just sell vulnerabilities, and they also try to sell techniques of targeting. Recently, we identified a zero-day vulnerability and a criminal group targeting Bahrain. They hacked the Bahrain airport. So they called At-Tufan. I don't know if you heard about them. We got a request from Bahrain cybersecurity to investigate, and we were able to identify the real IP addresses that the criminal group used to log in to their social media accounts. We delivered the IP addresses, the real IP addresses, and we were able to find one of the real guys behind it. We detected his LinkedIn account with a completely another name, and now he is with the government hands. So that's for my talk. I hope you liked it, and thank you for listening.